We shall see. People, as I said, but there's always something going on. It is what it is. They're finding a way to wreak havoc in the world. That's China included. I'll get into that. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Hey, look, we're not nuclear dust for another day. How about that one, right? I'm gonna create a hashtag. I want y'all to be up on that. There's a new hashtag I'm gonna create, 2 of them. One of them, because it's simple and it's short, will be "We the Dust," like we the people, but he threatened to make us nuclear dust. We the Dust. That's gonna be one hashtag. The other one's gonna be "We the Dust Object." So feel free to look that up if anybody puts anything on that, but I'll put it a little bit out there. We the Dust. So while Russia, Nouveau Russia, however you want to call them, the new Russia, they're going to be the new and improved, and it's going to fight stains and that kind of thing. Yeah, I got to pull up. I'm doing this thing on I'm doing a live, waiting on a truck wash, having a burrito. This is going to be I was going to name it Burrito Chat. So people, this is where I'm at on this. I should have been part of a think tank because of my gift. It is what it is. And to be honest, this is the way I can share what I got. So the people that have not been on my channel before, that's what this is about. Okay. I give intel. So as I foretold, a lot of things happen. Now, the one thing, that cutting off the gas, this would have been a normal war tactic in the event of war. But the reason I told you and predicted this, I went without sleep, I asked the question, I got the answer. That's how I get to it. The reason I told this is it is not normal when you're not in wartime to cut off gas to people that you are supplying gas to in the winter, and they're having a hard winter. It's very, very cold right now. So understand what I'm saying? They're trying to say, oh no, this happens all the time. We didn't do this on purpose. This is just, this is normal ski. Yeah, they lie, and lie more. That's what Russia does. They're the poison state. And then, like I said, they're not removing the troops from the border when they say, hey, look, we're fixing to bring back all the troops that were here for exercises. Well, not all of them were there for exercises. You see what I'm saying? A lot of them were there for the new paratrooper base. Other ones were there to be the little green men to attack in Crimea, where they annexed it, but they're still fighting at the border and trying to take over Donbass and that kind of thing. And they're now, every day, let me tell you what they're doing. And I've put up links to this. But every day they're dropping bombs from drones that fly at high altitude that you can't even see, but they can see you with their cameras, and they drop bombs on these soldiers that are just at the border trying to protect their freedom. And even though these soldiers are getting shot at, they're not firing back because they don't want to break the ceasefire agreement. So that's how messed up they're being, is they're actually attacking people who can't fight back because they're trying to do the right thing on their ceasefire agreement. Now, back to the other thing was this. Okay, how can I best explain this? You don't cut off gas to people you're supplying gas to unless you just don't care about the money anymore. This is the same thing eventually that he was going to do with the gasoline, petroleum, and everything else that he supplies. But even on the Nord Stream pipeline, he was planning to make a lot of money off of it, buy a bunch of super weapons, and then hold the world hostage until he can rebuild Russia with all of the states that used to be part of Russia, and they would have to sign agreements. Now, they did sign the Minsk I and Minsk II agreement, and that makes it a little bit muddy. But you just, unless you're in full war, you do not cut off the gas to countries in the winter while they're freezing. This is what they did to Georgia to punish them. And the reason they're doing it, and they're so brazen, and even though they're lying about it, they know it's obvious what they're doing, that nobody does this, is because British warships, and I don't know the proper way to say this, so let me try to show respect for Britain or England. I don't know if we're supposed to call them Great Britain warships or English warships or British warships. I'm going with the bigger one, British, to show respect. So, to our people across the pond, British warships are to assert their right to go into and around the Black Sea, where it's next to Ukraine. They're supposed to be able to go into their national waters, not international waters, but their national waters. Well, Russia's been sending ships out there, and sometimes they ram other ships. This time, I think they knew better, but they got close, but they fired a bunch of warning shots. Russia released that video where they actually fired warning shots near, I ain't gonna say at, but I'm gonna say near the British warship. And that British warship had orders to, hey, you go down there, you show them, look, we can go through here, you know, kind of thing. Well, the reason they don't want anybody in the Black Sea is because of all of the submarines and all of the warships that are planning part of their attack down there and what they've been doing. That's why they shut down the Black Sea for like God knows how many months. Nobody ever did this. Oh, it's exercises. It's always exercises with Russia when they're going to war. It's a lie is what it is. They lied and said it was exercises and they wasn't leaving the border of Ukraine. They lied when they said that they wasn't going to send any more troops. And then even at that time, those paratroopers dropped in and made a whole base down there, okay, where in Crimea. They did not abide by the ceasefire agreement. They've been firing over the border. You should see these houses. These are houses where people lived. But the military's there and they're shooting at them every day. Snipers, long range. They're, 50 meters away, they're shooting with high-powered long-range rifles, and people had died. And there's a wall, there's a memorial that the Ukrainian military has put up for the fallen soldiers that were defending. So it's happening, and they're not shooting back, but it's messed up. Okay, so they go out there every day, and they try to protect the border, even though they're getting shot at. That's messed up. So I'm gonna have to put this view this way. Fix to go into the tunnel of the wash up in a bit. The point is that Russia has lied the whole time. Now they've cut off the gas to Europe in the wintertime. People are gonna freeze to death. Someone probably already has died because it's been a couple days here that this has been happening. So, but they're lying and saying, oh, well, it's not, it's just for this reason or that reason. Just like they're lying about the more troops they brought in, and they just dropped in a bunch of paratroopers in Crimea, and they're saying, oh, no, that's exercises. And they're blocking off, they had a blockade of the whole Black Sea, and they said for 5 months or 6 months, don't nobody come here. And people had to abide by that because we're like, well, okay, they're doing this, we don't want any trouble. But they have been setting up, just like they did all the recon of our side of our eastern seaboard of the United States with that ship, that spy ship, so that was parked out there forever and then moved around, so that they could have landing places for these mini subs and subs. I don't know if they've built the submarine that holds tanks yet, but that would just be comical if they try to bring that here. But they have these hypersonic missiles with nukes on them, and they're touting them and threatening everybody with them. And at this point, I know that they did the same thing as when they were in Cuba. In Cuba, they brought with them tactical nuclear weapons. It's a good thing we did not actually go into Cuba, because it would have been that. They were told they could use them and should use them and will use them. They were told specifically, you will use these. They had tactical nukes down there in Cuba. They have them now on the border of Crimea. It is what it is. I mean, of Crimea, the border of Ukraine. Okay. So, it's already there. there's no, is it going to be a standoff where one side has nuclear weapons on the ground? No, it's already there. And like I said, they are pushing off even the British warships, which really, you don't do that. They may not have the biggest fleet in the world now compared to other people, but they've always been masters of the sea. It is what it is. You don't mess with Britain like that. So they put the one little ship out there and wanted to do a little, ride by kind of thing, and a Russian ship was given orders to come up and get them out of those waters and push them out of those waters. So it came up dangerously close, was shooting, and warning shots is what they call it, and telling them over the radio, you will leave and all this stuff, or you'll be fired on and all this stuff. And then they tried to seize it, is what some people say. But there's video of where they were shooting at it. Russia even released a video where, as if they have rights to do this. The GPS of both ships would be tracked. The GPS of the British ship, I'm sure, will be proof, and they can say, look, in the end, I'm going to say this, in the end, there will be more war crimes filed after this is all said and done, because there's going to be a lot of death and dying of citizens in Ukraine, and also, I would say there already has been. I'm going to say it when they come across, that's when the Russians they're going to get eat up. So there will be war crime trials. I mean, it's not like the Nazis got away with it. You look at the trials at Nuremberg, at what happened to the Nazis. They thought they were free and clear. Some of them went to Argentina. They even got some of them there. They got some out of the U.S. Look, it's not going to be something they're going to get away with. So everybody that's involved with that mess of attacking a sovereign nation will be brought up on charges and tried, even in absentia if need be. They can be in their own country and think they're free, but they can't go to any other countries. So in the same, right now, how Putin is doing these video conferences with other countries, part of that's he's scared of being poisoned. The other part is that he thinks that they're going to go ahead and try him now, or bring him up on charges now internationally, so they can make it so he won't ever be, he will have to do video conferencing, because they'll bring him up on war crimes in other countries. He won't be able to go anywhere. Now, there's supposed to be some sort of an agreement between Russia and NATO. They, like I said, I mean, they might as well be part of it, because they're a big country and they go and they show up for the, G7 and whatever. But they're not acting like it now, and I don't think there's going to be any face-to-face meetings anywhere until all this de-escalates. But definitely, there will be war crime tribunals when this is over. And what they're doing is not going to work. They may think that they have Ukraine out flanked and outmaneuvered and outgunned, but it's just simply not true. And what they're doing in the ocean down there, it's going to be known. I appreciate the light. Yeah, what they're doing in the ocean, it's going to be, it's already known. And even if they bring troops in there, I don't care if they bring them up in submarines. It's just not going to work. Their little, it reminds me of the plan from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where Napoleon takes and wants to build in a water slide, because he liked a water slide that he wrote. This is how almost comical it is, that you think that you can do whatever. It doesn't matter what they do, and they're going to be fighting people, Slavs. These are their cousins, their family, their intermarried. These are Slavs. They want to fight Slavs. So, in what they say, in an exercise to keep them from being attacked, they're going to go and attack people in houses. That's just, those people in those houses are such a threat that they have to go and attack them, and it must happen soon. This is where they're at in their mind. No, they've got this expansionist vision, and it's just like, the U.S. had it for going east to west, but that was a little bit different. Not too much different. I mean, it was a little different. It's I said it yesterday. See, I lose words. People, I'm getting older, but trying to think here. I'll think of it in a minute, or I'll put it in the comments, whatever. It was their divine right to move west, and it was they thought that the U.S. should be from sea to shining sea. Well, Russia thinks that they should put all the states back together even if they have to hold Europe hostage to do it. Here's why. Right now, their GDP is less, or less than France. I think it's like a couple of, maybe it's a couple of trillion a year that they make. So if you look at it, they can't afford the troops they've got down there, and it's a sad economy. They've got a huge military, all these wonder weapons, whatever, and so they're like, well, then we'll use the weapons to, you know, go further. So anyways, watch out. Yep. So these guys won't know what I'm got going on. So I'll fix to be getting off this thing here, but like I said, they are absolutely starting a war. They're starting it, okay? Even if there were weapons there at their border, they have weapons off everyone's border. They have nuclear submarines that they just popped up in freaking the Arctic Ocean, North Pole, Arctic Ocean. They have the Poseidon missile that they've parked off who knows whose borders that can cause a, you know, few mile high nuclear tidal wave that will come in and kill everybody and radio everybody. And then they also have these hypersonic weapons, and they park them everywhere they can. So they were supposed to, on the Poseidons, they were supposed to have, I would think it was a total of 15. They were going to have 5 surrounding the U.S. They even put up the plans where they're at. They're probably there now. So for them to even say, and they took over a new little island close to Japan that's actually contested, and they put a bunch of missile systems there just recently, like just within the last few days. They're preparing for a global kind of a war. So what they're doing is not, oh, we're having exercises. No, they're moving stuff around. They're moving heavy artillery and hardware and people to make this war happen. And they're lying to everybody else, but they just cut off the gas because, well, it's about that British warship. It's about people going, you know, across the border and saying, no, this is still Ukraine. You know, what are you talking about? We got a right to be here. So they're going to do a lot more of that. And I'm going to get into another live too. I'll do another live and I'll get into the actual crux of it. But people, you need to be up on DEF fluid for the truckers out there. Right now, Australia has a shortage and it's shut their trucks down. Okay, it's from China, and China has a shortage of shipping it out. It's not that they're out; they're doing some funky stuff too. Okay, that I think that is intentional, but you can say what you want. And we have a problem that's even worse of the sensors that say that we're out of DEF, but we're really not out of DEF. Those sensors, the microchip for that there's a shortage for that. So there's 2 issues with the DEF. Now I'm going to say this, and you didn't hear this from me, but it is what it is. What it is. There are companies right now that buy DEF that is concentrated in bulk. They put it in a container and they add water to it to the amount that it's supposed to be, and they use it in their trucks. Okay, so having said that, you can take water if you had to. You can fill up a tank and your truck won't know any different. Now, it may be bad for the system. It could wreck a system. You want to have at least half full of DEF when you did this. I'm going to say this, even if you were, you know, completely out, you have probably a gallon in there, you'd be thinning it out a lot. It would work. You could actually urinate in a gallon because it's urea. It's synthetic cow urine. Now, people don't want to hear this, but in an emergency situation, in a wartime situation, and when they say, hey, listen, do what you got to do, drivers. If you have to, you know, take it into here and do a DEF, DPF, delete, because it takes the urea to actually do a chemical process to clean off the DPF filters to actually keep the truck running. It's not just diesel that's sprayed in there through the dozer and all that stuff. Diesel goes in there, but then you still have to get it out with a part of the regen is the urea, the synthetic cow urine, the DEF, the DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. So, having said that, water would steam it. I'm gonna say that. Urine and water, I don't know how bad that would be, but that would work. I don't know how catalytic it would be. I'm just telling you the truth is this. Your truck ain't gonna know no different if you had water in your DEF tank, because urea and water is what it's made of. It's already a mix. There's companies that buy it. Like I said, what we need to do is all of the terminals for every company and everybody that can needs to get one of those pallets with a tank and get the bulk type and it's supposed to be regulated, whatever. You fill it up with so much water and you write down how much you pumped out. Y'all need to get on top of this, companies, if you're listening to me right now. Other than that, I'm gonna get off this thing. Just know that Russia's doing their tactics. There's a lot more of that coming. It's gonna be rough, and we're gonna not be able to get things. There's gonna be a shortage of a lot of different odd things. So keep you a couple boxes of DEF fluid in your side box. Keep your DEF full, because you're supposed to anyhow, because it turns into those crystals. Okay? And God bless you, people. I'm out. Peace.